Am I the butthole for screaming at my parents when they went through my phone while I was asleep? This happened this morning and I am still shaking with rage. Let's begin with some backstory. I was planning on moving out into an apartment in February of 2020. Then the pandemic hit, and I was no longer able to move out due to the quarantine. Once the major quarantine was lifted and we were able to go outside again, I still couldn't move out because my mother is severely immunocompromised. If she got the coronavirus, it would be a death sentence. So I was basically stuck at home, doing the majority of the housework and anything I could do to help. I typically do about 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily. Another thing you should know about me is that I am transgender and was in the closet until about 3 months ago. I was outed by my POS brother. For about 2 months, my parents bordered on abusive. They would use slurs towards me, and do their best to make me feel like crap. After I went to my therapist for help and she talked to them, they were no longer abusive, but still very unsupportive. I use Reddit on my phone, and I am on several LGBT meme subreddits and I download any memes that make me laugh, so I can send them to my friends. I keep my phone password protected, but haven't updated it in a while. This morning, I woke up, reached for my phone and it wasn't there. I left my room and asked my parents if they'd seen my phone. They said that they had it. When I asked why, they said, "We were looking for any contraband." I asked them what they meant by contraband. They responded with, "Anything that doesn't fit with our values," and that they'd found what I was hiding. I was starting to get angry, so I asked what they'd found. They told me, "We found things of an unholy nature, unsuitable for the eyes of any of God's children." It was my memes. They started to chew me out for having content of an evil nature and that there will be serious consequences. I was seriously pissed off. They had come into my room while I was sleeping, taken my phone, cracked the passcode, looked through my photos, messages, and everything else. 3 months of anger at how they treated me exploded. I started screaming about how they were unfit to be parents, how I wish that they had died, how they'd made my life hell for months. How I have trust issues, and PTSD from how they treated me as a child. How they hurt me, and broken me. I screamed for about 10 minutes, and when I was done, my mom started crying. She tried to explain herself, and I told her to shove her excuses up her ass. I think I might have gone too far, but I was so angry that I didn't care. TLDR, my parents broke into my phone, read my private things, and in return, I, probably too, harshly chewed them out. Well, Reddit, am I the butthole? Not the butthole. 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily. How frickin' messy is your house that this is a daily occurrence? Very, very messy. My father is basically a hoarder and my mother is allergic to dust. That means dusting and vacuuming every day. We're always looking for more storage space, so I build bookshelves. My mother's vision is failing, so we install new sources of light about every week. Plus we have a garden that needs raking, weeding, mulching, shoveling snow, etc. Not the butthole. Your parents need a nursing home, not a live-in slave they can abuse. And don't worry about the pandemic. If you leave and don't go back, you won't have to worry about giving your mother the virus. This was my thought on reading it. Op's mother being immunocompromised isn't a reason to not move out. It's a reason to move out and stay away until their parents are vaccinated. I get that original poster is very angry, but it seems they are using the COVID quarantine as a reason not to move out. Once the major quarantine was lifted and we were able to go outside again, I still couldn't move out because my mother is severely immunocompromised. If she got the coronavirus, it would be a death sentence. That's a reason to move out, not the opposite. 100% agree. It's the best argument for moving out and cutting contact that I've ever heard. There could be a lot of financial factors in play that original poster didn't detail in the post about why they can't move out. Moving into a new place is hard, almost impossible some places right now, especially if you don't have the money for first, last, and deposit, or a reliable means of transportation. I agree that original poster should move out and go no contact, but it's a lot easier said than done. I guess I was focusing on the fact that original poster was already planning to move out before COVID, so I assumed they had the means to do so and wasn't clear on why COVID would change that, other than we live in the upside down now and everything is harder. User T Diddy Kai made a good point about apartment hunting if ops parent is high risk. Reddit link. Also, ops' financial situation could have changed in the last year. If they weren't considered an essential worker and they lost their job, it's possible that the money they saved has gone to other monthly payments and they don't have an income source to replace the funds. It's also possible that a landlord wouldn't be willing to rent to someone currently unemployed due to the pandemic, especially if the landlord is concerned about non-payment of rent and the eviction moratoriums. Lots of factors to consider that original poster didn't touch on, that's for sure. Moving out means apartment hunting, which means potential exposure. You can mitigate risk to a certain extent, but the potential is there for original poster to bring it back home. There are people who are severely immunocompromised who have only left their homes to meet with medical providers for the last year. I have some immunocompromised friends who haven't even done that. They video conference their doctors and submit test kits by mail. Everything else is delivered, decontaminated with UVC and ozone in a pseudo-airlock system. We don't know how seriously ops parents are treating COVID, if they're going to the grocery store, socializing, etc. But if they're basically completely isolating in order to protect someone's life, it's possible that apartment hunting is viewed as too risky. I can appreciate that. I've grocery shopped only 4 or 5 times since March 2020 and picked up takeout, and I will go on walks. I got very sick in May 2020, but at that point testing wasn't available. I FaceTimed with the nurse and all she could tell me was stay home unless I felt like I needed to go to the hospital. I broke a tooth last week and had to go to the dentist. So being indoors with other people at the dentist and being maskless was super weird. Apparently they are keeping up a full practice and patients are coming in. So I understand the concern with apartment shopping. I just hope original poster perhaps can visit places masked, not touch anything and mitigate exposure because it doesn't sound like they are in a good place. I appreciate your comment and the context. Took the words out of my mouth. They probably abused and manipulated original poster into thinking this just to have a live enslave. I'd imagine there is a lot more to it than just staying safe for the sake of the mother. The pandemic also brought a ton of instability to many people. If original poster is having to spend as much time as they say, then it doesn't sound like they are left much time for a full-time job. Op is probably at a point now where they have essentially become shackled by their parents. My thoughts exactly. I think the pandemic point is about the mom not being able to go out. And this is your job? No thank you. You need to move, ASAP. If they like the house kept a particular way, then they need to take care of it themselves. If your mother has failing vision, she needs to see an eye specialist. Yep. Once the major quarantine was lifted and we were able to go outside again, I still couldn't move out because my mother is severely immunocompromised. If she got the coronavirus, it would be a death sentence. Stop worrying, move out and let them take care of their own stuff, and don't worry, if you are not in contact, which it sounds like would be much healthier for you, you can't give her the Rona. Not the butthole. I'm sorry, but the argument you can't move out because of COVID doesn't make sense. You can't move out, socialize and come home. Maybe you can't come home and visit no matter what after you move out. But, and this is important, you can still leave. You can and you should leave. You are being taken advantage of and abused. This home is not a safe space for you, and if you still have the means to move out, you need to do it. Not the butthole. F. Leaving is the answer. Up, there is a saying, don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You don't have to harm yourself to look after them, and it sounds like your mental health is at significant risk by staying there. They don't respect you as a person, and it doesn't sound like that's going to change while you are there. Assuming you are an adult and can support yourself, I would strongly recommend moving out and going no contact for a period of time to allow yourself a chance to be comfortable with yourself and transition. It will also give them a chance to appreciate all you're used to do for them, because you won't be there doing it, and some distance to potentially come around to your new self. Just don't get your hopes up on the second part. And don't expect them to ever express any sort of gratitude for what you've been doing for them. It sounds like they are not that sort of people. Good luck finding a safe place to find yourself. Not the butthole. Thank you. Moves the F out. A year ago, but tomorrow works too. And then never, ever, ever speak to your family again. F everything about them. Like. Seriously, boo. Get the F away from them. Blame never speaking to them again on COVID if you need to. If they show up at your place after you move, cough a bit in their general direction and say you may have caught COVID. Let them live with a bit of fear for a minute. But Jesus Christ, for your own sake, love, get the F out. Let them live with a bit of fear for a minute. Considering how much they've put original poster through, I'd let them stew for days. Move out. You can't compromise your health for people that only hurt you. You need to move out. Not the butthole. Not the butthole, but some things don't make sense here. What was their plan for when you were going to move out before COVID? Why would you moving out now put her at risk if you don't visit? Why would you want to visit if they're so horrible to you? Just move out. They essentially guilt-tripped me into staying, saying that they'd need my help during the pandemic. Moving out can put her at risk as if moving out doesn't work, and I have to come back. I could expose her to it. I don't really understand how that works, but that's my parents' reasoning. I am planning on moving out and cutting contact ASAP. Your mental health is more important. Actions have consequences. Your parents betrayed you and lost any moral claim on your loyalty or your free labor. You are NTA. I'm so sorry that your parents are like this. Make sure you have all of your important documents on you when you finally leave, like birth certificate and SSN. I'm rooting for you and wish you the best. Your parents are manipulating you. Seriously, start looking at places to live and don't say a thing to your parents. Most places now offer no contact options to sign paperwork and tour homes. I moved last year and did everything online, did not see a person at all, had appointments that I set up and the agent would wait outside and they only opens the door to let me in. You get a good mask and wear that at all times, keep distance when needed and you should be fine. So sorry you have to deal with this kind of abuse. I hope it all ends well for you. Go stay with a friend while you hunt for an apartment if you can. That way you don't have to go back home, your mom will be safe and you'll be free. Good luck. My father is basically a hoarder and my mother is allergic to dust. Oof, what a crap combo. I suggest you just make sure your room is clean and don't bother with the rest of the house. Not the butthole op. Please move out. They absolutely deserve to be told they are crafty parents because they are. You do all this work for them and they treat you the way they do? Hell to the no. Good on you for standing up for yourself. Every time they bring crap up about values, let them know their values don't align with the ones Jesus preached and they are going straight to hell. Damn, that's super crafty of them. I'm allergic to dust. And I'm a hoarder. I still deal and clean my own crap, despite having a pretty significant slew of disabilities. Did you put a password on your phone? Yeah. They didn't crack your password. Change it. If you can have 6 or 8 digits instead of 4, do that. Most important, do not unlock phone in front of them unless you are sure they can't see the screen. Even then, be careful. Op said in another comment that it was a 20-character password with 2 numbers and a $sign, and it wasn't anything easily guessable like a birthday or something. Not the butthole, don't believe the crying. Sending good vibes with the hopes you can move out soon. Thank you. I'm hoping to get out of here as soon as I have the chance. Just go. You said you were planning on it before, your parents would have had to take care of themselves before, and they will figure out what to do after you leave. Agreed. Just do it. Your parents have given you no courtesy, you don't need to give them any. I'm sure you can find a way to safely move out. Do it ASAP. This right here. Parents like this will always have a reason it's not a good time. And moving during a pandemic while your mom is immune compromised is probably a great way to get a little time and distance between you. Also, check out /r/raised by narcissists, Reddit link. Just throwing my 2 cents in, keeping you so busy handling their bullcrap is a way abusers stop you from having the free time to focus on getting away. I've recently got out of an abusive relationship and also grew up in a crafty cult that used the same keep them so busy they don't have time to escape tactic. Your parents you need to keep their hoard dust free thing is not a thing anyone normal would ask of you. You'd be better off devoting that time to looking up rentals you can get out, even if it means more short-term fighting. Well. Crap. I've never been able to properly explain how my ex trapped me. And there it is, I didn't know that was a thing. It's actually a really common technique of abusers. Scare quotes because many abusers aren't aware that this is what they are doing. At this point, it sounds like you need to create that chance now and get out of there ASAP. What's really keeping you from moving out right now? You know you can't give them COVID if you don't come back, right? Mostly financial stuff and worry about my younger sister. You're in a dangerous situation and you need to go. Get out and keep up contact with your sister. Anytime your parents try to cut off contact, call in a wellness check with CPS or your country's equivalent. If she's close to adulthood, make sure she knows you'll help her when she's an adult and to hang in there even if your parents make it impossible for you to keep ongoing contact. Stress that no matter what, you care for her and will help her when she's old enough to get away. This sort of situation sucks, but it is abusive, and the only way you can help your sister in the future is to get set up securely on your own 2 feet and have a place ready for her. There's always a chance that leaving means she can be swayed or brainwashed by your parents when you're not there to reinforce that you care, but you can't keep living in a place like that. You need to move out and take care of your own well-being before you can start worrying about hers. Be safe. You are not safe at home and thus are facing a precarious living situation. Is there a Covenant House or domestic violence shelter you can get support from? You are being abused. That is what these agencies are for. Web link. Please keep in mind that you owe them nothing. Get out as soon as you can, and remember that looking back is optional. Hugs and support enclosed. Make your own chance. Go now and don't look back. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.